Hey there, everyone. This is Sean, and welcome to Questioning Money, a newsletter taking a closer look at how money works and how it affects the world around us. How often have you ever heard in life that you need to make your money grow? That we need to make our money work for us? Maybe it was your parent that told you that, or a financial advisor, or maybe you heard it from a professor in school. This idea that money must grow over time is so ingrained in our lives that it is a de facto part of working culture, and it's something that we don't even question. You go to work, you put as much money in your 401k as possible, pick a few mutual funds with some catchy names that are designed to grab your interest, save a little every month, and watch your money grow. We do this on autopilot, never questioning the wisdom or being conscious to the risks. In fact, we associate this kind of behavior as saving for retirement. But that's not really what it is. Really, the financialization of saving money has turned people who just want to make sure that they can retire into perpetual risk takers and investors, and the cause of it is how our system of money works. The root of why this is the case is because you can't just save your money by holding dollars. If you hold your money in the bank, you're going to fall behind. Now, Americans are just used to thinking in dollar terms. The dollar is the strongest currency in the world. Therefore, we can just use the dollar for everything. This is not the reality in most other countries around the world, though. For most currencies, the local currency in a country cannot be relied on to store value over time. If you look at most countries around the world over a long time span, like 5 years or more, whether it's something like the Nicaraguan Cordoba or the Pakistani rupee, over time, the value of those currencies consistently falls against the US dollar. People in these countries are used to thinking with a multi-currency mindset. They understand that they can't really store wealth in their local currency. So what do? They hold different currencies for different purposes. So for regular spending, day to day, they will use their local currency. But for saving money, to the extent that they can anyway, they will try to acquire US dollars. It's not always easy to acquire dollars, though. You can't just open up a US dollar bank account in a lot of these countries. So that's a problem. But the point is that these people try to do it, and whenever they can, they try and acquire US dollars. Their multi-currency mindset is that it's best to spend in the local currency, which everyone accepts, but save in a currency that stores value over time. Different money for different purposes. And for these people, that method of saving money has traditionally been the US dollar. Now, in America, or Europe, Japan, Switzerland, or any one of the other strong currencies around the world, we don't think this way. We already have the strongest currency, so isn't that good enough? Well, no. The dollar is losing value every year from inflation. Every 10 years, using the targeted 2% inflation number, you lose 25% of the purchasing power that you have saved in the bank. This is why we have to make our money grow, because we're losing so much purchasing power over time. In a way, we treat the stock market and a 401k the same way that someone in Nicaragua views the US dollar, as a tool for savings. But it's not the same thing as savings. You're not saving your money in a money that naturally gains value over time. You are investing in financial assets. This financialization of savings has become so normalized that the line between saving, which should mean not taking risk, and investing, which means taking risk, have become blurred to such a degree that most people think that the two are the same. While this way of life and money is certainly the conventional wisdom, it's not natural at all. It's not natural for money to lose purchasing power over time. Money losing its purchasing power is a deliberate choice. Our central bank and government, and all modern central banks, have chosen a monetary structure where inflation occurs and money loses value. Since Americans think that there is no currency alternative to run to, the way someone in Nicaragua runs to the USD, we treat financial assets the same way. And the result is a debt-ridden, fragile, economic system where everyone's retirement money is being stored in investments that were always supposed to be risky. Investing is always risky, but we think of it as savings. What I am here to posit to you today is to start thinking about this differently. When you look at forms of money with limited supply inflation, like gold and Bitcoin, these items are not financial assets in the way that you think of stocks. They are forms of money with limited supplies, and having a limited supply is the most important factor in a money that stores wealth over time. Choosing to put money in these commodities is not the financialization of savings. It is a definancialization. It is the choice to store wealth in base forms of money that have better wealth storing properties than the dollar. It doesn't matter that you can't spend these things in stores. Americans need to adopt the multi-currency mindset the way that so much of the world already has with how they try to acquire dollars for savings. The same way that someone in Nicaragua spends in Cordobas and tries to save in dollars, people in the US need to start thinking about the dollar in the same way, where you spend in dollars and save in something that actually protects your wealth. And this is not to tell you not to invest in stocks. I do. But you should be wary of the financialization of savings. Investing is not saving, but we do it because the dollar doesn't let us save on its own. We have to look elsewhere to maintain our purchasing power. So that is all for this issue of Questioning Money. If you like the newsletter, please subscribe. You can find me on Twitter at Sean Cover. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back soon.